This is Nairobi Design Week, and welcome to Sondeka Festival 2021.
Hi guys, my name is Adrian Yankoviak. I'm the founder and creative director of Nairobi Design Week.
I'm Naitiemu. I'm an artist. I work as creative lead at Nairobi Design Week, which is a platform where creatives meet and get to share ideas, get to meet and connect, and also learn more about the creative industry. I graduated from School of Civil Engineering in 2018. I was still doing art at that time professionally, and after graduation I freelanced for like a year, and at that time got to meet Adrian, and he introduced me to Nairobi Design Week.
Nairobi Design Week started when I came to Kenya as a foreign designer and very quickly realized two things. One was that Nairobians were really creative and working on a lot of exciting things. And all those things that were happening, people needed a way to connect between them, to be able to interact and to be able to collaborate. And the second reason, when I went into the field as a human-centered designer to do research, to talk to people, it was very quickly apparent that I'd be more qualified if I spoke Swahili and knew the culture and was a local. And I started asking the question why I was brought to do this job when there must be designers who are qualified in Kenya to do it as well.
As Nairobi Design Week, we target learners and professionals, and also people who are interested in understanding the design community. We believe design is for everyone, and design is very inclusive. So we focus a lot on human-centered design. We believe design is for everyone, and design is about humanity. So we focus a lot on human-centered design, and that's more about understanding what works for people through empathizing with them and being embedded in their process. So we like to listen to people's stories. Life is all about storytelling, and the stories that we tell kind of define us, right? So by understanding the stories that people tell, we are able to work with them and best satisfy their needs and collaborate with them in ways that will benefit both of us and grow the creative industry.
So when we first started, we went round asking people what should a Nairobi Design Week be. We didn't know. I was a designer and not a festival director, so I'd never done this either. So it was about learning and listening to people and finding out what their needs are. And we realized after the first festival that really a design week for Nairobi shouldn't be like some of the other ones around the world that are only an annual thing. We really wanted Nairobi Design Week to be a community and a platform. So that's what we really put our efforts into, to ensure that the community has somewhere to go throughout the year, to find opportunities, to discover new talent, and to connect with each other. So since we've started, we've learned a lot of things. In the first year, we learned that we should only have one theme. We had about 5 themes in the first year, and that was way too many, and we couldn't do justice to any of them. From the second year and the third and so on, we've had one single theme that everyone focuses around. And every year that theme has become stronger for us. It allows different people to participate, and it allows us to discover different forms of design.
Through Nairobi Design Week, I get to meet loads of amazing creatives from all different genres who are doing amazing works and helping solve problems. Just this platform helps us connect, helps us come together in projects that actually make a difference in the society. For example, such projects as the Labeled Human movement, where we had people sharing their labels. Everywhere someone goes, you realize you've been labeled something. For example, now that I have my dreadlocks, everywhere I go, I'm always called Rasta Girl, and people expect me to have certain characteristics. So Labeled Human is a platform where people release their labels and make them insignificant. So through this, I really got to grow a lot as a person and as a creative, and other projects such as the London Design Biennale, where I get to also grow more in my technical side and just learn new things. So learn new things about Africa also. I think through Nairobi Design Week, I've got to learn a lot about Africa and really got to appreciate my Africanness. So through certain conversations we have with other groups such as Design Kenya Society, and Paddy. We all have these conversations that really open up our minds. We had the African Crossroads event last year, which was about Pan-Africanism. This brought together people from all over Africa and the world, and I got to learn about, for example, the history of African sounds. I got to meet so many interesting people and network, and through this grow as a creative also.
Being associated with Nairobi Design Week has been awesome for me. It's been a source of inspiration for myself because of the amount of work that you post. So I always find myself going back there just to look at other artists' work, and it's very inspiring to see what other people are creating. It's been also a source of traffic for my own social media platforms, so I'm thankful for that.
We've really learned to listen to what people's needs are and how we can cater to those needs. We can't always help them, so we often go to the community, help them work on brief projects for clients and so on. If we as a studio are working to complete a client brief, then we will bring in creatives with particular abilities to help us fulfill that brief.
We always engage in community projects. We love to work with the community. So this year, actually, we've been doing a lot of live streaming and just getting to talk to people and get their stories, get to understand what togetherness actually means to people and what they'd like to see more. And this engagement has got us exploring different channels. So now we're also on Clubhouse as Eat, Design, Repeat.
As part of the COP26 UN Climate Change Conference, which is taking place in Glasgow this year, we're working with Design Manchester, British Council and SIG Festival and others to create a public space in Manchester and one in Nairobi in Kawangware, where the local people from the neighborhood will come in, learn about climate change and learn about nutrition and how those two things are related. And these two communities are going to be communicating over a portal screen. So both will have a webcam and both will have a screen that they can see each other through and participate in activities and learn from each other and share each other's stories. So that's just one example of what we're doing this year with communities. We see potential for Nairobi to become a UNESCO Creative City and a UNESCO City of Design. Currently, Cape Town is the only city in Africa which has achieved that accolade. We're always trying to become more useful to the community and more focused with the things we're doing. So this year, we've restructured, we've created new identities for some of the things we're doing. So we have Nairobi Design Week, which is the studio and the community, the festival. Now that's carrying on as we've always done. Now we just understand better what we're doing as a studio and how we can bring other people in and how we can offer them value. So we'll keep on offering those services. We've also got a podcast called Africa Design. So that's something that we're really excited about. It launched last year, and this year we're aiming to host as many creatives from around Africa, from every country in Africa as possible.
We just launched an app called Eat, Design, Repeat. Creatives get to share their work. You can have audio, video, images, and get to connect with other professionals. There's also a platform where we'll be referring people to whenever they're looking for creatives to work with. So it's really a place where we can all grow together. We believe in a community kind of growth where it's organic and where everyone gets to see the progress together.
You'll be able to sign up, create a profile, browse others, check out opportunities that are coming in from the community. So this is somewhere that we'll be sharing all those WhatsApp messages, all the IG DMs, everything that comes to us. We've been trying to find a better way to put it in one place and let the community find it. So as with everyone, we were affected by the pandemic in many different ways. First of all, the festival in 2020. The festival started on the 8th of March in 2020 and was due to finish a week later. And in fact, when we got to the 13th of March, we knew that we had to postpone or cancel all forthcoming events. And even the music video shoot that we had scheduled with many, many people, we had to turn that down. So we shot a music video called Labeled Human, and we planned to have hundreds of people in the music video, within the scenery. We could only bring the creatives together. So that meant we had about 50 people. And this was before people were wearing masks, but in the video you can actually see Antoinette, one of the dancers, wearing a mask already. So we were trying to set some precedent there. And then after that, we went indoors, spent a lot of time indoors trying to catch up with all our thoughts, trying to strategize and learning from other people, listening to our community, catching up with World Design Weeks, partnering with Open Design Africa Festival and the Pan-African Design Institute, and going to a lot of Design Kenya Society, online events, and all of those have allowed us to bring our community together and also to learn how to exhibit and how to do things online. Nairobi Design Week is the dopest thing because it allows creatives to collaborate how they want, and it helps them get structure. So we really want to show the value of creativity, and we're showing the value of creatives, creativity and design, and how that can benefit other people and how to present that value. So it's about showing that what you love doing can also be productive.
Check out Nairobi Design Week. Of course, we're in this together. Thank you.
My name is Linclell Technologies, a self-taught engineer. I'm a CEO at a company called Linclell Technologies. At Linclell Technologies, we deal with electric mobilities, and all our projects are green powered. That means all our products we build are electric driven. The highest percentage of what we build is built using recycled materials. The workshop is located along Thika Road near Gatehi 45. We have a lot of products, including electric scooters, wheelchairs, and bicycles. But I think right now I'll talk about the wheelchairs. What made me start the wheelchair business or building wheelchairs was a challenge I saw in the society, and that was how people with disability were being handled and how they were really suffering on rainy seasons. This was back in 2014 when I came to Nairobi for the first time, and I noticed how people with disability were not given enough care by the public means, and I decided to design and build a wheelchair or a mobility equipment that can help them move from their homes to work and back. It wasn't an easy journey for me to achieve and be able to get the skills that I have right now. After I dropped out in Form 3, though it wasn't my wish. It was just some family issues. I dropped out in Form 3, and I had a dream. I wanted to do mechatronic, but since I dropped out of school, I couldn't be able to fulfill my dreams. So I chose and I decided to take the course and teach myself how to be an engineer. I tried looking for a computer, good internet, but I couldn't access them. The only choice I was left with was to steal a computer, and I stole one. I'm sorry to the owner of that computer, but it taught me a lot. It taught me to be an engineer. It made me who I am right now. This still is a lesson to the government. They should make some things accessible to the youth, like the computers, free internet, because I believe there are so many people who can't access computers and who can't access internet. And they are left, the only choice they are left with is to start stealing, because you have dreams, but you don't have ways to fulfill them. In order for me to fulfill or build one wheelchair, it isn't that easy for me, because most of the parts I use are recycled. Like the most critical part is the batteries, because all of the batteries I use are recycled. The main challenge is sourcing the batteries. But I was so lucky on 2020 to be able to partner with a company that does e-waste management in Kenya. The company is called EnviroServe. They've been very helpful to me, because I used to get stuck because of batteries. The batteries I used to source locally were not enough. After I get the batteries from them, I have a workshop that mainly deals with the batteries, where the batteries are sourced and tested and batteries pack are built. After that, I have to source the motors. The motor is the part that is used to propel the wheelchair forward. And mostly I use office seats, recycled office seats on the wheelchairs, and shock absorbers. The wheelchairs have got shock absorbers to be able to manage the rough terrains we have locally. It was very surprising for me to see that people really appreciated what I built, and especially when I gave someone to test the wheelchair, someone who needed a wheelchair to test it for the first time, they gave me a very good feedback, and it really motivated me to build more and become more creative. So yeah, the people really appreciated what I built. What really motivates me is trying to solve problems that people are going through, trying to solve problems in mobility. Like for instance, building wheelchairs for people living with disability because they are facing a lot of challenges in mobility. In our cities, like here in Nairobi, we have a very big challenge of traffic. And if people can be able to start using electric bikes or electric scooters, they can help in decongesting the cities. So it really motivates me to try and build affordable and durable scooters that people can be able to use. It makes me feel happy when I see a customer using my wheelchair and the wheelchair helping the customer, because you can use a product that is not helping you. But in my case, when I see a customer using my product and the product is helping them, it makes me feel super. Again, when it comes to like people using, like for instance, like homes for people use electricity, I would like them to start shifting, not shifting whole, but shifting in bits, to shift in using solar panels, because I love using clean energy. In Kenya innovation space, we lack support and we lack resources. Like for instance, in my case, when I built my first prototype, I tried to search for government entities that could have helped me in mass producing the wheelchairs, but it was very tough for me to get. The government needs to improve and really work hard on supporting the local innovators, because they are the only people who can be able to bring changes and make things affordable and accessible for everyone in Kenya.
Hi, this is Owen from 254 Brewing, and welcome to the Sondeka Festival 2021. My name is Owen Flynn. I'm the CEO and co-founder of 254 Brewing Co, craft beer, and also co-founder of Booch, kombucha, and grounded non-toxic cleaning products. 254 makes a wide range of craft beer. So we have 7 flagship products on the market: lagers, IPAs, stouts, porters, Belgian styles of beers. Booch is a healthy alternative to soda or coffee or tea. It's a raw, again, raw unpasteurized kombucha. So kind of a soda-like drink. Super healthy, super good for you. And Grounded makes a line of household cleaning products without all the nasty chemicals. 254 Brewing, we incorporated the company in February 2018, and we got our license to manufacture alcohol in January 2020. So we've been around for 3 years, but the first 2 years was getting the license. And then, of course, last year we had Corona, so. Basically, we're kind of a new product in the market, I guess. I come from Ireland. I cut my teeth working in manufacturing in China. And 10 years ago, we drove a Jeep from China. My wife and I, we drove a Jeep from China to Cape Town, South Africa. And we fell in love with Nairobi on that journey. And our background being manufacturing, we were really just excited to get involved in manufacturing in Kenya. When you go back here, you'll see small brewing system, small fermenters. Everything we do is on a small batch scale. We started off with really high-grade barley. We have over 20 different kinds of malt that we use, so we get a wide variety. The barley is super nutritious. It has a lot of micronutrients in it that helps the yeast be healthy and do a good fermentation. So we start with that barley, and we're basically making a barley tea. We're making a sweet barley tea. Then we're adding hops for flavor, and we add some of our beers. We add a lot of hops. Some of our Santrap IPA will use about 30 times more hops than a commercial lager. So you get a lot more of those fruity flavors, citrusy, floral flavors coming out of our IPAs. But then we also make lagers, we also make dark beers and so on. After we've added the hops, we cool the beer. We cool down the wort. Hasn't yet become beer. We add in the yeast and we send it now down to the fermenters. And then it sits in the fermenters for 2 or 3 weeks while we let the yeast do its job. When it's ready, we package it up in bottles or kegs. The key thing we do, which is different to everyone else in the market, is that we don't pasteurize or filter our beer. So when the beer is ready, it undergoes a process called cold crashing. So we bring all that beer in the fermenter down to 0 degrees Celsius, and all the yeast sediment crashes down to the bottom of the fermenter. Then we pull the beer off from above the level of the sediments. So what we have is a supernatural, probiotic, full flavor beer. 3 key ingredients of beer is malt, hops, and yeast. And so we have some beers which are hop-led, so the flavor is driven by the hops. That's our IPAs. We have our Little 5 IPAs, Sandtrap, Golden Rump, even Cliffhanger is an IPA. So those beers have a lot of hops in them. And then we have other malt-led beers. So a malt-led beer is going to be something like our amber beer, Ambercelli. We have a stout and a porter. So those dark beers where the flavor's been more driven by the malt. And then finally we have yeast-led beers. So like Sambrew Brew. We had one last month we brought out called Muratatu. It's a Belgian triple. So those are like our German, Belgian style of beers. Where we use specific yeasts and the primary flavors coming from the yeast and the fermentation and the products that the yeast produces in the fermentation. There's a lot of things that make us unique. Obviously, we're the only beer company doing unpasteurized and unfiltered beer. So the beer has more flavor, and it needs to be kept cold. So that creates a lot of challenges on the distribution side, which has driven some innovations in the business. We're very lucky. Last year we were able to recruit one of the top brewmasters in the world for craft beer, with Matt Walsh, who's our head brewer now. As in 2020 microbreweries were closing all over America, and we were actually growing here in Kenya, and we managed to recruit Matt to come out here. We do a lot of innovations and stuff on the product side as well. There's one of the only licensed Muratina brewers is just 5 minutes down the road here in Wangiga. And we've been having the brewers liaise back and forth with those guys and talking about the history of Muratina, all of the microbiology that's going on in Muratina, the alchemy of that. Muratina is also an unfiltered, unpasteurized product, so we really have a lot in common with those guys. And so we've been scheming on how could we make a craft Muratina, or what kind of natural indigenous ingredients could we use to make some craft beers here in Kenya that have never been seen before anywhere in the world. The beer industry in Kenya is quite interesting, and I have found it really interesting to look back on, Tusker will turn 100 next year. So we've had 100 years of barley beer, and centuries before that of traditional ferments. And it's sad for me that the traditional ferments have been marginalized quite a lot, though they still exist, and now licensing is coming into that world as well, which I find interesting. In terms of commercial brewers, we're only the 8th licensed commercial brewery in Kenya in 100 years. So that's a very small number. And you know, this, in a country, you know, in a typical European country like that might be 10 times smaller than Kenya might have, you know, hundreds of breweries, you know. So we're mostly accustomed to a small number of commercial lagers, and it's just now starting to open up to craft beer. We've got the Bila Shaka guys, we've got the Kenyan Original guys, Sierra and Big Five have been here for a while. So we see the door is starting to open up now on craft beer, which for us is very exciting. So I think the next 100 years probably be more exciting than the last. You know, you have so many challenges, and if you're entering a market which has been controlled heavily by a small number of brands for a very long time. So we had a long challenge in getting licensed. It took 2 years. We have a big challenge, you know, creating awareness as a small company with a small marketing budget. And, you know, Tusker and Whitecap have done amazing marketing for 100 years. So, of course, they're very beloved brands to Kenyans, and there's a lot of inertia of Kenyan beer drinkers and a lot of brand loyalty with those brands that have been here for a long time. But we also see Kenyan consumers are very curious, and people are always willing to give you a try. And so it goes step by step, but, you know, just getting the brand out there, having people be willing to try, those are challenges, but we enjoy those challenges. Find us all over Nairobi, in Chanaranas and Carrefours and lots of bars like Gecko and Alchemist and Shamba and so on. We definitely encourage you to come out here to Kikuyu, to the brewery, to the tap room, to see how it's made, drink it fresh, straight out of the fermenter, and, you know, DJ Chopsticks is here on the weekends, and there's amazing food, and it's just an epic vibe. So just come on out here. That's my recommendation. Check out our website, 254brewing.com, or Instagram. That's about as far as we've made it with our socials so far. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, enjoy the festival, and we're super stoked and proud to be part of the innovation that's happening in Kenya right now. We feel like the products that are coming out of Kenya are world class and would really kick ass in any market. So we're just stoked to be here. So please, as an Irishman, let me stay for as long as possible.
Hello and welcome to Sondeka Festival 2021. My name is Bradley Mbagaya, and this is Truck East Africa Limited, and I am the Chief Technical Officer. Truck East Africa Limited is a Kenyan registered company that operates mainly in Nairobi, Kenya. We currently deal with the manufacture of electric mobility products, such as the tuk-tuk you're looking at, and also electric handcarts. So Truck East Africa Limited was established in 2015. This was after an observance by the CEO and the founder, Mr. Kenneth Gwantai, where he saw that over 1 million handcarts, commonly known as mkokotenis in the CBD, are actually a very huge source of income for the youth. But the problem with these mkokotenis was, 1, it was labor intensive, 2, it was not safe. 3, it was actually about to be banned within the cities of Nairobi, within the within the urban area of Nairobi. So he thought of a solution. How can you make sure that you solve all these problems at the same time, ensure that you have something that is impacting the environment and also having a social impact on the youth? At Truck, we decided to come up with a design that will actually solve all these problems. Mr. Gwantai came up with a design of an electric handcart. And this electric handcart was supposed to solve all these problems that the current youth and the county government are facing. And through his innovation, through his designs, he got to get recognition both locally and internationally. After a month or two, and after recognition also by the Tony Elumelu Foundation, he was able to produce a prototype, a working prototype, that ended up now evolving to what we are seeing currently right now. So the genesis of the production of our products is a bit sweet and sour. Turck East Africa Limited, being an alumni of the Royal Academy of Engineering UK, we were able to be financed by them to enhance our skills, to enhance our capabilities into the next stage of piloting. So 6 of our technical engineers, that is 3 from the mechanical and 3 from the electrical, were offered training by Gearbox through the facilitation of Royal Academy of Engineering to advance our skills. For the prototyping to really be enabled, we were incubated by the National Youth Service Engineering Institute, and this played a huge impact in developing these products, simply because they offered the space and also they offered the machineries that are currently available here. By the end of 2019, we had finally come up with an MVP, or rather minimum viable products, which were basically the tuk-tuk and the handcarts. So the e-locab, first of all, has a huge carrying capacity. We are talking of 6 compared to the conventional tuk-tuk, which is around 4. A loading capacity of around 1.5 tons compared to the common tuk-tuk, which is around 700, sorry. If you look at our tuk-tuk, since it's fully electric, it's quiet. There's no any noise produced when it's running. Secondly, there's no any form of emission when it's running. The reason why we came up with this idea of making a tuk-tuk that is fully electric is, one, it's going to help in the running costs. The running costs compared to the fossil fuel, ours is almost 70% cheaper than running a fossil fuel tuk-tuk. Secondly, we have a bigger carrying capacity. So unlike the tuk-tuks, the conventional tuk-tuks, which have a carrying capacity of around 4, ours has a carrying capacity of 6. Our tuk-tuk has a loading capacity of around 1.5 tons, so basically it's a pickup. The conventional one has around 700 kilos. Since ours is actually electric, there's no any form of noise pollution. So you have a subtle ride as you're going to wherever you're going. The next thing that we want to do is we want to get into now actual vehicle manufacturing, electrical vehicle manufacturing, such as vans, 14-seater vans. And eventually we will want to be in a position where we have fabricated locally saloons and also probably buses and whatnot. So that is the idea behind Turck. So far we have received a great amount of positive reactions from our target market and also other government institutions. First of all, they love the concept. They love the concept that it is made in Kenya, by Kenyans and for Kenyans. And secondly, the fact that it is fully electric. It's a new technology. It's a new technology. The world over is actually embracing this electric mobility era. And being the frontiers, being the pioneers in this, we are really proud, and guys are actually looking at it from a point where it's a new product that is interesting, that solves all the problems that the current tuk-tuk has. And since we have developed a new recharging system that will ensure the mileage covered, or rather the efficiency has actually improved. For example, the conventional tuk-tuk, for it to do what we currently are doing with this tuk-tuk at 500 kilometers, you will have to incur costs of around 8,000 to 10,000 Kenyan shillings worth of fuel. But now, with the kind of system that we have invented, or rather innovated for our system, for our products, you're going to cover the 500 kilometers, but you're going to only use 100 to 150 Kenyan shillings worth of tokens that you will use to charge. We have hospitals who are coming in. They want the e-locard to be moving food into the wards. Since it's electric, no emission, no noise, so it's very suitable. Secondly, we are also looking at post-mortem logistics in the hospital, carrying bodies from the hospital to the morgue. Thirdly, we have clients like the Nairobi County government. One of the products that we have right now is for carrying waste from the CBD. So you have your bins, you collect them, and then it's segregated into 4 so that you can separate the wastes, and then you have a centralized place where you can just go and drop them off. We have guys like airports. The airports will also use this one to carry around their luggages through the airport. But the most crucial clientele that we are really targeting is the women and the youth who are currently seeking employment. You can have, or rather we can make for you an electric handcut that is fitted for your needs. So if you are a common mama mboga, we will just make it segregated in such a way that you can have a mobile kiosk. So you can move around, go to the marketplace, sell your produce, and then back home, you just close it up and go back home. For the youth, we can make this a mobile car wash. All right, so we have a huge tank fitted on it, and then you can go to car parks, wash the cars, at the end of the day, go back with your product. So we have all these avenues that we can explore, especially with the electric handcut. Our greatest motivation is we want our company to be on the cutting edge of automotive technology. With our products, we want to generate a social economic impact to the society, as well as having a great environmental impact. Having been in this industry, in this innovation industry for a while, I would want to say that the Kenyan innovation space is actually vastly populated with brilliant ideas, very brilliant ideas. But the problem is now when it comes to execution, we are facing a lot of challenges. May it be bureaucracy, may it be political, may it be even the market itself accepting the products that we have. Due to religious, due to social status or all that, we are facing these challenges, yet whatever we are coming up with is something that is unique, something that is on the cutting edge. I would like to employ for a free and friendly policy for the innovators just like me, a million others like me who have great ideas, great innovations, to be in a place, in a space that is actually friendly for them to move it to the next stage, for them to realize whatever that is on their mind and execute and let the market accept this kind of product. No matter the age, young or old, if you have an idea, if you have a concept that you think is unique, that you know that it is going to solve a problem, always take it out there. You don't know who is going to hold your hand, and all you need to do is shout about it. This was Truck East Africa Limited. For further information, and if you will want to come and visit us, please take a look at our website, www.autotruckea.com. And I would want to wish all of you a happy Sondeka Festival 2021.
Hi, my name is Gatehi Mwaniki, and welcome to the Sondeka Festival 2021. I am a filmmaker, photographer, and a co-founder of NMK Films, which is a filmmaking and photography company. NMK Films is a company run by 3 individuals, myself, my partners Kifue and Ryan. We also run a studio for video and photography purposes that's run at Gumo at Sunview Estate. It's been working for about 1.5 years. I specialize in cinematography, editing, and directing. I'm also into gaming as a hobby. I play first-person shooters, like Apex Legends, and I also stream and do like highlight videos for YouTube as well. I started filmmaking in, I think, 2015. I started doing short films as part of my hobby during school at Daystar. In filmmaking, I was inspired by a lot of the YouTube filmmaking community back in 2015. While studying electronic media in Daystar University, and being close to the production aspect of broadcast, I'd watch a lot of YouTube filmmakers, and the content they were creating with such little budget and small teams, the kind of content that was being put out just by small productions was really something I thought maybe I could also achieve. And just slowly trying to replicate the things that they were doing and telling my own stories really inspired me to just create more. And every year that passed, there'd just be more interesting short films and short filmmakers on YouTube, or just content creators that were doing something amazing with whatever they had. I've always been a fan of gaming since I was a kid. Way back in the Nintendo 64 days, we had Nintendo, we had Sega, we had computer games, and I've always been a fan of that. I think since the first time I saw a video game, I was like, this thing is crazy, even though it was like a 2D thing on a CRT monitor that didn't have a lot of color to it, but I saw it, and the fact that you could interact with these characters using some weird controller thing, that just sparked something in me that just, it's hard to explain, but it was very intriguing. My highest moment, I think as a filmmaker, was the day that I got awards at the East Africa Student Film Festival. In 2018, the East Africa Student Film Festival held their event, and I submitted my films. And I wasn't expecting much, just as the previous years and film festivals that I had applied for. So I attended the event at the request of one of my former lecturers. He really insisted that I go, but I wasn't expecting much. I was just there to support people that I knew. And to my surprise, as NMK Films, we won the most awards of that night. And I don't think I've ever had an experience, even till now, quite like that. We won Best Short Film, Best Cinematographer, Best Editor, Best Sound Designer, and our actors won Best Actress and Best Actor. So it was something else that, like, it went from a night where I was not expecting anything to just being something I'll remember for the rest of my life, because that pushed me forward. It pushed my family forward to see that, you know, this filmmaking thing is real. It just changed everything. It's what brought about the idea of, you know, making a studio, continuing NMK Films as a business. And I think it gave us as a company a drive to just keep going and keep creating. I play different games, mostly first-person shooters, adventure games, RPGs, that's role-playing games. I think in the past I've played a lot of Witcher games, BioShock, Call of Duties, the like. And currently I'm playing a lot of Apex Legends. I'm quite addicted, I have to say. Balancing working and gaming is much like anything else in life, which you have to make time for. With gaming, as addictive as it can be, just knowing your timelines, like project is due on this day, so I can allocate 3 days from, you know, my regular schedule just to edit this one project that's due on this day. And once that's done, I can now, you know, focus now back on gaming, where I can just now relax, take my mind off things, and just, you know, refresh my mind so that I'm not too stressed out on the next project. Getting jobs is kind of a tricky situation when you're a freelance filmmaker. But basically how I do it is making my own portfolio on different platforms. I mainly focus on Instagram, although it's currently kind of tricky there, because when Facebook acquired it, the algorithm got kind of tricky. But basically what I used to do is shooting just regular passion projects. Like I'd have one of my friends model for me. We'd go to like Karura and just shoot some B-roll there and make it look very cinematic, edit a cinematic sequence and post that on Instagram, post it on Twitter, and just get people to share it as much as possible. And somebody who has a project in mind that they want it to look similar to that or have the same cinematic quality, they'd call us up and be like, yo, can you do this for my music video? Can you do this with a documentary stage in mind? Or, various stuff like that, or can you make an actual film? Like there's a client who actually just saw our work, our regular short films that we did as passion projects, and was like, I'm looking for a filmmaking crew, can you work with us? When it comes to filmmaking, I think technology is a core part because I don't think filmmaking is possible without technology. Ever since the Wright brothers made the first film, they had to have the piece of technology, the camera, to actually make that short clip of the train moving towards the screen. So technology is definitely a core instrument in storytelling. And for me, it's, I think, one of the most important parts. I know for others, it could be the scripting. For others, it could be the, the creativity. But for me, I'm very stuck on the technology, the cameras, the lenses, the computers as well. For instance, I started out with a very basic, very basic laptop as my editing machine, and it didn't really have much to it, but I struggled through all the slow speed, all the crashing. I'd look at all these YouTube videos and see they're like $2,000 PCs and how easy it was for them to create content. And till now, I still look at like different types of tech, high-end stuff on YouTube, and just imagine what kind of content I'd be able to create with that. The new cameras that are coming out by Sony, by Canon, and just seeing the capabilities that they have to create beautiful images just boggles my mind. So, and when it comes to editing, the machine that you have, it really influences your workflow. So, like my computer, I started out with a very basic configuration on it, and editing on it was kind of a nightmare. And for basic projects, it worked quite well. But for more serious things, like documentaries or anything that had high resolution footage, I'd be sitting here just waiting for my computer to respond. So eventually I upgraded the RAM on it. I had to upgrade the CPU, the graphics card, everything, so that right now when I work on basically anything that I do, if it's music videos, events, or documentaries, or even films, I know that I'm guaranteed like a good experience when I'm editing. And I don't think the film industry is being maximized to the fullest. I believe that there's so much more that we could be doing and not doing at the same time. I think there's a lot of gatekeeping when it comes to stuff like distribution. When it comes to funding, there's not enough space for certain people to push their work through. And there's also, based on what the actors and actresses that I've worked with have said, there's a very high standard that you have to push through to make it in like the big scenes of films, because there's already a set people who are guaranteed to be called for A, B, and C film or A, B, and C series. And that's why you see more or less the same people in almost every Kenyan film, in every Kenyan TV show. And I feel like there's a lot of gatekeeping going on that's inhibiting certain actors and actresses from getting into that space because of that. I feel like there could still be more in terms of rewarding smaller filmmakers, in terms of rewarding people with smaller stories, not necessarily always the big commercial filmmakers that have been in the game for 10, 20 years. And I feel like when you give as many people as an opportunity to tell their stories, I feel like the industry just grows naturally. And on us at the filmmaking side, I think there's several problems, like the licensing structure is very confusing, if not very expensive for no absolute reason. We still don't understand whether or not certain content that you're creating for online purposes should be licensed for or not. One of the worst things to befall the filmmaking industry is the stigma that filmmaking has as a result of, certain things here regarding security. I feel like there was a time you could walk around town with a camera and not necessarily be stopped by every single person, or pull up to a residential area and people see with gear and it's fine. But I think because of certain security mishaps that happened, there's a stigma around people who carry cameras. People often asking, where is this footage going? Are you the real person? These days security and terrorism. And I get a lot of that wherever I shoot, whether or not I have a permit. And I think that we need to sensitize the Kenyan community about, how normal it is to be a filmmaker. At the end of the day, I think it's really important, despite all those factors, that creating stories is a very important and inspirational feeling. I think seeing people's reaction to the stories that we make, and also creating something out of almost nothing, looking at script and imagining, visuals in your mind and putting that to work until it's on a big screen or a small screen. I think that feeling is definitely worth it, despite all those problems that we face. For anyone that's thinking of getting to the filmmaking industry, I'd realistically tell you that you will definitely struggle. There's definitely gonna be hard times, and if it's just something that you want to do as a passion, there's gonna be a lot of things that won't work, and I think that you need to be doing something else on the side to support your lifestyle and any other financial needs that you have. Thank you for having me, and I hope you have a great Sondeka Festival 2021.
My name is Hiram Kamau. I'm a music producer and an entrepreneur. So apart from the music business, as an entrepreneur, I'm also into juice making. I'm into farming, in particular superfoods and herbs. So I've had a passion for farming, or rather interacting with the earth to produce something. And I look at it as, even though I started with music production, I'm still in the line of production in some way. So I guess I'm passionate about producing stuff, be it music or be it the juice. The juice is called Gatehi Juice. It's juice that is made from cat, in particular, as locally known, Mugoka. I'm able to blend the cat and fuse it with substantial amounts of fresh and natural fruits, and also some herbs and superfoods, for example, hibiscus. And that's how I come up with a juice where you can benefit from the stimulant effect of the cat, and at the same time have some health benefits coming to your body also.
Yo, mi naitwa Mchizigaza. I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a creative director. I'm actually a creative multimedia artist. Sorry, nafaa kusema hivyo. Niko hapa manze na kunywa kitu inaitwa Gatehi Juice, hibiscus flavor. There are kinds of flavors kwa hii kitu. It's actually quite many times nimekunywa hii kitu. And trust you me, the experience about this, first and foremost, hibiscus iko na kitu kingine. Mimi sijai kunywa kitu kama hiyo. Unajua Kenya tunywangi vitu mingi kama hizo, but ile experience na feel ile essence ya mogoka, ile mustim mwisemange, ile taksim iko kwa hii kitu ndio inanibamba sana zaidi, because unaifeel hata kama ni watu ambao wanachana Jabba wanajua ile rough feeling, ile sensation rough feeling na feel kwa roof ya tongue yako na huku juu kwa mdomo, unakupatia hiyo bado iko.
One of my highest moments is when I actually came, or rather stumbled upon this innovative discovery on how to make the juice. So it's a moment I cherish, that the discovery came, my way from whatever source. I know everybody has ever thought about juicing it, but for you to actually take action and take some time and come up with a good beverage, I think that's a high moment for me. Again, when I got my first few customers and they were confident with the juice, it's an idea that's very hard to sell to someone who has been consuming it in other ways. So those are probably two of the high moments that I would highlight. First, when I stumbled upon the idea, and second, when someone else believed and actually purchased my idea in form of a product.
Kitu pia nanibamba na hii kitu sana ni hiyo kombo ya Taksim. Jiendo mimi naweza elezea peke yake hii Taksim na ile flavor imekona naye imeambatana vizuri sana. So I will feel kama una both flavors unakunya the same time na iko well balanced. Hii kitu ninabamba na hii kitu. Kwa mfano, unavyo kisipi kitu kuna vile ukinywa Jabba Juice za watu wengine unasikianga ukali, unakuwa irritated. It does not irritate your throat. It slides in the tongue vizuri sana. Inafanya inaambata na tongue yako. You want to drink it more but hutaki kunywa sana. Ni kama vile unakunywa kahawa.
The reception has been amazing. We started off with a very small customer base. Very few people who believed that cat could be consumed in such a way. And over the years, we've built the customer base with more people referring their friends, their relatives, just giving them the confidence that the stimulant effect in that juice actually works. And we could say over the past 4 or 5 years, we quite have a good number of customers. Apart from the COVID pandemic coming through, I think our numbers would be through the roof by now. And it's also been a good thing for us so that we can also have, time and space to build capacity in terms of production. And more so getting feedback from our loyal customers who have helped us go further into research and development and improve the beverage more over the years. So the reception has been awesome. In terms of workforce, I would say I'm still in the production unit. I have an assistant and I have a delivery guy, a main delivery person, and also others whom I assign other delivery duties when this one is busy.
Kwa majina ni Philemon Mogere Mukua. Hapa najulikana kama Stano. Ni rider wa Gatehi Juice. Kama saizi naenda delivery side za Kilimani. Nafurahia sana kwa hii mambo ya Gatehi Juice. Mimi mjamaa boda, nilikuwa nafanya kazi usiku. Nilikuwa nimezoea kujaza taxi. Sasa wakati nilikuja kwa Gatehi Juice yenyewe kwa kampuni, nilijua ya kwamba si lazima mtu achane. Hiki kitu na sweep pole pole. Yenyewe unaifeel ni kama unachana. Pia si lazima ati uteme ndio ukule. Unanyonya tu ukikula. Lakini ukiwa na taxi, ukiwa na Jabba kwa mdomo mzee, unatema, unaenda at least tafute maji, alafu ndio fanya nini udish. Lakini hivi unakanyonya pole pole.
Apart from the production unit and the delivery team, we also have the research and marketing department, where I have a few persons we work with, and together we all form like a think tank, brainstorming and coming up with ideas on how best to further market the product. Because after all, it's a new innovation, it's a new product. Hence, we don't have necessarily set guidelines, but we come up with ideas on the fly as we go. Apart from that, there is now the administration part of the company, where I'm a director and I have my co-director. As directors, we're able to oversee that the company has the resources to, carry on with its activities to push this product even further. So in a nutshell, we're a small team. As you've heard, just the labor part is the production unit and the delivery guys. Then we have the office, just the marketing. Then we have the office, which is the marketing and sales department. Then we have the directorship. We're a small company, but we're growing bigger. We've faced quite a number of challenges. One is on the consumer's end, where they have a culture. The consumers have a culture of chewing it, and they feel that the culture is being threatened when it is being introduced as a juice. We go ahead and tell them that not necessarily it shouldn't be a substitute. It can also be, an accompaniment to your chewing. But it's for them to also know that culture is dynamic and it changes. And we have to accommodate those who do not have that chewing culture and they want to indulge. So that's one of the challenges, is how the consumers receive it in relation or in regards to their chewing culture. So the chewing culture feels threatened. Another challenge is the ambiguity in law of the product. Cut itself is not well defined in the law. It's in a gray area if we like to use those words. And one of the challenges now that come in is the Kenya Bureau of Standards cannot standardize the product since it's not defined in law. They don't even know how to regulate it. Other things like cigarettes and alcohol, at least the law stipulates on how that should be regulated. The other challenge would be, like everybody else is experiencing this COVID times, business is on its all-time low, and we're struggling to get customers, we're struggling to deliver. It would be different if COVID wasn't there, let me just say that, but this is a problem I guess we're all facing. In 10 to 15 years from now, we see ourselves prosperous in such a way that we'll be able to come back to society and give back, even in other forms, away from the production of gut juice. Probably in sports or even music. Could probably do some awards, some recognition programs, encourage the youth amongst us to keep doing what they're doing. So once we reach there, I believe we would be on our way to achieving our goals, and most importantly, that mission of growth. Follow your dreams, make sure your passion is in it. Don't just do things because other people are doing it, because then they have reasons to wake up and do it, even without anybody pushing them. So, and when you have passion, it keeps you in such a way that nobody needs to push you to do it. So just make sure your passion is in whatever you're trying to do, and don't lose hope. Keep dreaming, but most importantly, don't forget to wake up and live it. So on behalf of Green Gold Empire Gut Juice, I'd like to give a big thanks to everybody who supported us since day one, those who believed in us, those who spread the news through word of mouth, social media. We're very grateful. And if you want to reach us on social media, you can catch us on Gut Juice KE on Facebook, Hiram's Gut Juice on Twitter, and Jabba Juice on Instagram. So we do deliveries. There are various flavors. There's hibiscus, there's cocktail, there's lemonade, there's dawa. So you just make your call and make your order and we deliver. Simple as that. We got you.
We got you.
We got you.
We got you.